Today on Beyond Scaling, I'm joined by Aaron Boatin, president of Ambs Call Center. Ambs is a family-owned company with nearly a century of history, which is trusted by organizations across the country for its personal and, fair to say, high-touch approach. Aaron, your story is remarkable, right? Aaron started on the phones as a call center agent, and over 3 decades, he's worked his way to the top as president. And under Aaron's leadership, the company has embraced technology like AI whilst holding firmly to his roots in customer care, which is a really unique approach. Aaron's an award-winning leader, a respected voice in the call center industry, and someone who's shown how tradition and innovation could thrive together. And that's what really interests me about this conversation, Aaron. It's a real pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much for taking time out.
Well, the pleasure is mine. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. Absolutely.
So, Aaron, Ambs has been around, is it 1932?
1932.
Ago,
Yeah.
my memory's holding up. It's been on for nearly a century, right? And when you're
Right.
carrying that kind of legacy on your shoulders of something that's been around for so long, it's made such an impact, and it's got this, reputation. How does that legacy shape the way you make decisions?
Well, I think it's the legacy is not something that we take lightly in terms of we understand the importance of where we came from. And at our from our very onset, it's always about helping people connecting people. And I think, as we've grown through over the years and evolved, at every point in our evolution, as we embrace new technologies, there's always that human interaction in the loop. And so that carrying on the legacy is it's been a joy, been a lot of work. And certainly it's not me, it's our team. And very very proud of our team over the years. We have a number of long-standing folks that have been here for decades, and it just speaks to the family atmosphere that we try to maintain.
Yeah, I get that feel from social media and from your website. It gives off that family-owned feel. I think that's definitely comforting for your clients. I think before we go any further, Aaron, for those who are not aware of who AM's call center is, give me your elevator pitch. What do you guys do?
Sure. So Ames Call Center, we are a 24/7 contact center. So we do a lot of different things for different clients, but essentially we're 24/7 here to provide telephone answering service, virtual receptionist service, and now AI receptionist service to help our customers stay in contact with theirs. So we're really enabling our customers to, uh, you know serve their customers round the clock with, not only customer service, sales lead capture, order taking, service dispatching, things like that. And we began as a physician's answering service, so answering for area doctors, but we've evolved across a number of different verticals that we serve today.
Sounds like a broad reach you've got there into many different industries and staying diverse. You touched on then AI receptionist services. So that's something you offer alongside the human service. That's very interesting.
It is, and that's something that's fairly new in the last, I would say, 24 months, 20 months that we've rolled that out. We've, it's our approach is there are things that AI receptionists can do well and things that it cannot do well, and I think they'll always, as we evolve with embracing the AI receptionist into what our service delivery is, it, there's always going to be human in the loop for different things. And the AI receptionist empowers our team to do more to help our customers. So think about let's say there's a natural disaster, God forbid, or some other weather event where the call volume is just our customers are overwhelmed. Not only can we provide that coverage to help their business stay in business, so think of like a hurricane or something like that here in the States, uh, you know, the AI receptionist allows us to help at scale and allow deploying the human agents to really handle the most critical of those calls. So it's a very much a team effort, and that's kind of the approach as we evolve with our AI, not only internally but externally. Our offerings is it's really going to empower our team to deliver even better and higher value services from a human perspective, and the total service offering. So it's exciting times. It really is.
Yeah, it sounds it. I really appreciate your approach to that. I've speak with many businesses in this podcast, and there seems to be some resistance from some organizations who consider that AI as a threat to their business model. So rather than embracing it, which you clearly are, and bringing it along board for the ride, right, and using it to an advantage, they're kind of shutting the door on it and saying, and kind of trying to pretend it's not there then, if you like. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that quite a lot because it threatens their business model. I think what you just described there is a very intelligent way of bringing AI along. I know it's probably a bit of a cliche already, but AI isn't going to replace your job. It's somebody using AI is going to, replace your job, as the Apple quote is.
Right, exactly. I've heard that several times at at different conferences and speakers and such. And yeah, and we're really we're really looking for, from an internal perspective, really having it help. It's really going to be riding shotgun, or kind of a co-pilot type of scenario where as we're handling calls, it will not currently, but what it will be doing in the not too distant future will be, if I'm on a phone call, it's going to say, Aaron, don't forget to ask, or they mentioned this, or they seem upset. Why not? So again, suggesting, helping, kind of a whisper in the ear. We have that whisper technology now where our supervisors can be a part of the conversation, but only for the agent. So they can help our team. But, we're thinking of it, using it as a, kind of riding shotgun, so to speak, and being that extra, kind of the, I guess, assistant, if you will,
Yeah,
throughout the call.
there's so many use cases for it, right? And I think the way you're thinking about it really speaks volumes. I've heard you describe in the past, from things you've spoken about or things you've written about balancing high tech with high touch. And now I think I truly understand what you're referring to when you say that.
Yes.
AMS is known for its personal and family run touch. But you're leaning into this technology like AI and real-time evaluation. I believe 100% of your calls are now
Right.
evaluated. How did that decision come about? Was that a leap, or as AMS as a business always stayed ahead of the game?
Well, embracing new technologies, since the onset of what we've done, if I permit me to go back in,
Yeah, please.
history a little bit,
Mhm.
but, everything was going to kill our industry. The sky is falling. So any new technology that came out is going to replace the switchboard or this and that we used to do way back when. So before, first it was call forwarding. So why would customers have their phones ring to us when they can just call forward it to their homes? Or then it's pagers. Okay, well, they won't need us. They'll just call the pager, beepers and such. Or then it's the mobile phone, and then it's it's apps, it's AI, it's all these things. But our approach is it allows us to deliver our all these little technologies are opportunities, not threats. It's really how you choose to embrace them. And really what all these technologies allow us to do is to deliver a higher value to our clients, you know f- better service, faster service, more robust, but at the heart of it, human to human interaction. And that's what really drives us and makes, I get excited about it, is how can we take this technology and put it out to our customers in a meaningful way. And so I've seen, there's companies that choose to do it in a different way than, what our approach is. But so yeah, embracing technology for the call evaluation that you'd mentioned, you know, we quality is a big thing for us. We participate in some secret shopper programs, and we have our own internal call evaluation program. But really, to be able to do it at scale, to evaluate every single call is really not humanly possible, at least from a cost standpoint of having enough call evaluators. You can only imagine it's essentially like doubling your staff. So AI allows us to, pull out calls that, maybe need a little bit of coaching, or what I like to do is catch people doing good. And our team's awesome. So like we can search out, when callers say, thank you, you've been so helpful. We can flag on that and, catch people doing good. And so where it would be kind of a needle in a haystack scenario before that type of technology existed, we'd rely on our customers to say, hey, we had somebody that gave a compliment to you guys. So now we can be proactively, recognizing our folks. So
That's such a great twist on it, Aaron. That's such a great twist. I'm almost embarrassed to say that I haven't thought of that angle. And this is kind of my arena, right? So I know we discussed this previously. There's a bit of an overlap with what I do and what you already have, and that's why one of the reasons this call has been so exciting for me. I think what you've pointed out there, as a motivator, there's many ways of using this tool, and that's quite a unique perspective of using it as a reward system, right? And you could incentivize that. You can there's 100 ways you can spin that, and just being recognized and saying, look, hey Bob, we've gone through the stats this month, and you've received 38 thank yous. You've been a great help. Here's a $50 dinner voucher. Go and enjoy yourself. Whatever the case may be, right?
absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned that we have a very similar, we have a lot of different programs that do just that. So, number of, perfect call evaluations, it accumulates and people get recognized with different things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
so
it's
cool.
been fun, and it's really enabled those types of programs and employee recognition programs, which would be far too much, you know, man hours and work to be able to
Okay.
capture and quantify and calculate all that data. It makes it, very easy to, again, recognize the team for doing great work for our clients. So it's been
I
a
like
lot of fun.
like that.
It's
I
not
like that.
perfect. Nothing is perfect. Technology is not perfect sometimes, but again, it's a tool. It's a solution, but it's a tool to deliver, the type of service that we want. So it's really empowered our team to do
Yeah,
more,
yeah, yeah.
for our team and for our customers. So
Yeah, and ultimately that's who's benefiting, right? Your customers benefiting because the people dialing in are benefiting, and for the team, it's
mhm.
it kind of gamifies things a little bit, doesn't it? It's an incentive, it's motivation to get. I'm sure they're going to do the best job they possibly can, but when you know that kind of incentive is out there, that going the extra mile award, is yeah, that's very interesting for me. It's very interesting for me. With these evaluated calls. What is that? Would you say that's the? Sorry, let me rephrase that. With these evaluated calls, what surprised you most about how the way team have worked? Have they embraced it? What's been the general response from your?
Well, I think it's as a technology, from the beginning, it needed fine tuning. So it would, there's certain things that you have to teach it, you have to adjust. There may be some sorts of clients where the scope of work that what we do for them maybe doesn't, the system, the AI system was marking us as not doing something, but really the client didn't want us to do that thing or ask those questions or do this. So it's some false positives to begin with, but it's a learning process and a teaching process for the system. And so I think now that we have it fine tuned, and it's always an evolution that, our team is seeing that, okay, well, this is great. We're getting all these calls evaluated. I'm getting recognized and things like that. It's like any technology, it's, each version and iteration gets better and better. And so what I'm excited about is bringing the caller sentiment into it. So, um, more so than it is today. So for example, if a call comes in, what the AI can do is look at that call or listen to the call, if you will, or evaluate it, and you know give the caller sentiment. So maybe the caller started off, the conversation started off very poor sentiment. So they were upset. They're using words that would indicate anger or angst or, dissatisfaction. And then throughout the call, what our team, it's going to recognize our team, turn that call around. So it started off as a, angry or frustrated caller, but at the end, we ended up delighting them and left on a high note, so to speak. So the caller sentiment throughout the call, not just on the call, was it an angry caller, but did we win them over? Did we help them? Did we give them resolution to their pain point? That's what I'm most excited to see next, and that's what we're actively working on.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And I think there's a lot of benefits. That the real time evaluation is something that I'm seeing being implemented quite successfully. There was a tool that we put out which it was for sales teams, and it even counted the words per minute, and directed the salesperson to slow their tempo down, just slow it down a notch. Right, you're racing, basically. You're racing, and you're going to lose them. So it just asked them to slow it down a notch, and you slow it down a notch, and then it even anticipates objections that are potentially going to come in the call. Very accurate at it as well. I mean, yours is a little different, right? This is specifically for salespeople, right? But anticipating what objections are going to come, and as you said, the technology starts off a little bit clunky, starts
Mhm.
off a little inaccurate, and as time goes, it just gets smarter and smarter and smarter. And I know it's a very slick tool to implement.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can either fear it or embrace it, I suppose, right?
yeah,
And
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. I mean, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, right? It's only
Right.
it's
Right.
grow. Yeah. And you talk about AM's proven process and how that's front and center. It's how you describe your work. Is there anything you can share around that, or is it a little bit like the Colonel's secret spices? Is there anything you can give us around that?
Well, I think as far as the proven process is concerned, that's kind of taking a step back. We run on. There's a great book called Traction, and it's what this book talks about is the entrepreneurial operating system or EOS. And the proven process is something that's born out of that book and that framework that we um, have embraced here at our company. But the proven process is really it's something that we were always refining. So we have the proven process for onboarding, for customer service, for every different department. We have different processes, but really at the beginning of all of it is really defining the ideal client that we like to work with. And we love our clients, right? And we want to attract more of those types of clients. So clients that, have a clear definition of their needs, work with us to succeed, and those types of things are really important. And equally important is when we're talking to potential new customers, making sure that we're open and honest about, okay, are we a good fit for you? Are your needs, we're not going to be the right fit for everyone. Just, every company is like that, right? So being open, being honest, I'd rather part as friends if we're not the right fit. For example, we're not a telemarketing type of call center. We're, like a high tech, high touch kind of boutique inbound call center. And so those types of things, being very honest about it. We even have resources on our website when we're not a good fit for you, because again, it's all about being, leading with honesty, integrity, and respect and fairness for everyone, and respect to customers, respect to potential customers. If we're not the right fit, we'll find someone to introduce them to. So it's kind of all rolls up into our proven process for success. And, it's, I guess, good karma is baked in there along the way. You do good things, it comes back.
Oh, I strongly believe in that, and I love that philosophy that you're working to there, Aaron. And I think it's quite easy for businesses that are not family run then to they receive a different kind of pressure, right? Especially if you're listed. you receive a different kind of pressure to generate it's that's all you hear is year on year growth. We've got to grow. We got to grow. We got to grow. We got to scale. As if it's possible to do that indefinitely, and in doing so, then you have to compromise somewhere, and that somewhere typically ends up quality, and then that's when people fall short, right? And this
Right.
sounds like the process that you've come up with of not being selective, but making sure it's the right fit. Sounds like a very smart approach to doing business. It's clearly working for you. AMS is doing exceptionally well, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Aaron, when it comes to the process and the AI coming into this, but how do you see this playing out in the future? And this is a theoretical viewpoint, of course. Nobody can predict what's going to happen. AI is coming in thick and fast. We can see the interactions with AI come more and more. Personally, I mean, obviously, listen, I work with AI. Okay, this is one of the things I do. So I'm a big advocate of AI. But there's also a part of it where when you receive an email from somebody that's clearly written with AI, for example, there's a feeling I get, which is it doesn't feel sincere. If it's coming across and they're trying to be, they're I'm trying to get my words out correctly because I know AI has got its place, right? And I use AI for note taking if I'm on calls, and then it'll take the minutes, and I'll send those minutes. I'll scan them, perfect, that's okay, and I'll send them out. I see that as being a perfect fit for AI. But if you're a boss and your boss is sending you a thank you note for everything you've done, and it's written by AI, and if you're using ChatGPT frequently enough, you could spot her a mile off. I
There's
don't know what it is
35
about
M dashes in there, right?
you got it. And also the perfection, right? It's so
Right.
polished and it's so perfect. And I've spoken to that person and I know they're not polished and perfect. Neither am I, right? So if somebody that knows me received an email from ChatGPT, it would stink of ChatGPT. And I think you lose so much authenticity in that. And then the message that comes across just doesn't feel sincere. Am I making sense here?
Absolutely. No, at the heart of it, humans crave human interaction. And I think there, there's ways that you can leverage AI to teach it to understand your approach and how, kind of a brand voice. We're actually in the midst of teaching um, our AI that we use for our marketing and things like that, what our brand voice is, how to craft our message to make it more human. But so, if we use it to generate an outline or something like that, or an email or something along those lines to just kind of start and then edit with our human team, having that brand voice baked into it will help with that. I think that's kind of where the future is. It'll be more human, but it can never, in my estimation, it's never going to be 100% that replacement for that handwritten or handwritten notes certainly, but composed emails. And I've seen people just put in. I've heard this where people are actually specifically putting typos in because people are like, "Oh, that's a human. It's not, there's
Yeah.
a typo in
Yeah.
there." So it's
Yeah.
funny, but yeah, I mean, I think there'll be personalization at scale. I think AI will allow us to personalize it at scale. So looking at, if we have, a number of contacts we want to make, say from the sales process or something like that in marketing, being able to look at past interactions of how we have interacted with particular individuals. And then, okay, let's send out an email about this, but then it'll look at the interactions and make a customized email outreach based on the previous human interactions, be they call recordings or human one-to-one emails. So I think it'll allow personalization at scale, but you have to do it well. I think otherwise it damages your brand voice and makes you same as everyone else in the feed, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. And again, it's about what message you're receiving, right? And again, if it's the director of your business, like if you were to send one of your employees a congratulations email, on being sort of great this month, and that's sent clearly with ChatGPT with all the hyphens in there, they're going to see it. It just takes some of that personalization out of it. And I think you're right. I mean, it's coming, I'm sure, and it's going to get better. But I think you touched on something there, and I don't know if it was intentional, but if I send you, Aaron, a thank you email, say, Aaron, thank you for this podcast. That was great. You'd receive that. I go, oh, that's nice. If I took pen and paper and wrote out a letter and posted that to you and you received it, that added human element, that goes so much further, doesn't it? I haven't received a written note like that for a long time, but
Absolutely.
I have done not to contradict myself. I have done in recent times, actually. Someone wrote me a thank you card. Um, and that thank you card, because they'd gone out of their way, they bought a card, they've come in, they've written it with a scrawly handwriting, the gentleman that sent it to me. But it actually meant quite a lot. It ended up sat on the side for at home quite a while. And I think that element of personalization, we'll always crave that. But I think that's what I'm getting at with AI. I think
Absolutely. Yeah.
there's absolutely a place.
Yeah. Technology can only take it so far, but the relationship building and the human interaction, I think that's what solidifies business relationships is, keeping it real and human and never letting that, go by the wayside. So, yeah.
Excellent.
And by the
Excellent.
way, we do send out handwritten cards to all new customers.
Oh, there you go. See, this is the
Yeah,
personal touch what I'm
that's
talking
right.
about.
That's right. So, yeah.
It means something different, though, right? It really does. Really does. And within the industry right now, as you're looking at it, you've got AI coming in with these technological advances that you're embracing, which is using them in very unique ways, which is very interesting for me. With regards to pain points, if I could give you a magic wand and say, you can fix one challenge across the call center world, what disappears overnight?
Lloyd, I think the biggest thing that I would like, if I could, like you say, wave a magic wand and fix something, I would say the civility of callers. I really, in the call center space, I guess it's a societal thing, right? Um, it's people seem to be much more stressed, of course, I think since COVID, and it's so. I think reducing the stress of call center representatives. I mean, it's a very tough and rewarding job, and I think having the tools to cope and to handle difficult callers. I think that's going to be, I think, where we can lean on AI to help us out, to coach us and say, you know, if I have something in my ear, like, don't take this personally, they're just venting, use this phrase to help steer the conversation back on track. I think that would be the magic wand, would be to kind of really give the team those kinds of tools to not internalize it and things like that, because it is a difficult job. So I don't know if waving a wand of curing incivility is a thing, but I think those types of um, tools and resources for people in our space and our industry, I think that would be a game changer, really, because it's a rewarding but a very difficult job, as you can imagine, certain
Yeah, it
types
is.
of calls.
No, but Aaron, I've worked on the phones when I started my career. I worked in sales, so I
So
mean, I can. Oh, I
yeah,
know. And hey, listen, I worked on sales in England, so I think being told to go away by an English person is, talking stereotypes here, but it's a different go away than what you get in the in the states. Um, but it's a tough job, and there's traditionally a very high turnover of staff, especially in the sales world, right? The turnover of staff is enormous. And I know that's slightly off piece here, but we're talking slightly different kind of contexts, but um, it's the same. It's the same idea, that
absolutely.
the idea of being rejected, and it's people forget sometimes that there is a human on the end of the phone. It's almost like when you're in a car and someone's in a car next to you and they start beeping the horn and vicking you off, and giving you the finger. You know, if this was in a restaurant or if this was in a supermarket, you wouldn't be doing that to me. You know, you wouldn't.
Exactly.
Not
Right.
everybody. Not everybody. And I think on the phone is the same as well. And people are so used to now social media and just being so outspoken and rude, quite frankly.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
absolutely a minefield. If you talk, I try to stay off as much as possible, and I use it for work purposes. But Twitter, or X as it's now known, I can't go on there. It's just such a toxic place. But that you can't type that toxicity all day and then not carry that elsewhere in your life, right? And that's probably where it's translated.
Yeah, sad but true. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Yeah, I think that you've hit on something where it is something that's bleeding into other parts of society in terms of whether it's interpersonal reaction relationships at the shop or at the store or on the phone, right? So it's hopefully it maybe AI can teach a little civility to folks or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah, but
I'm sure it could.
yeah.
Looking forward, Aaron is doing very well now. I can see that. Looking 5 years out, what's your vision? What's your goal with Ambs Call Center? What's your plans?
Yeah. Well, I think our goal has always been to grow, but growth in a meaningful way, whether it's organic or acquisitions. Yes, we've acquired companies that have kind of fit our culture over the years, other family-owned businesses. So I can see growth, from organic and from that light, but really very excited to see how we can get into much more, uh, I would say, detailed. As I'd mentioned with the AI Copilot type of thing, I think that'll allow us to really level up our skills on the phone in terms of like getting into maybe tier one or tier two technical types of things, or providing, more detailed medical types of not making clinical decisions or anything like that, but really I'm excited to see the superpowers that AI gives our team. It's really going to be profound. I think, I can see it in the next 24, 36 months. We're really going to have some tools that we've never been able to leverage before. We've talked about it internally. It would be great if we could do this or X or Y, and seeing that on the horizon is what really fires me up every day and gets me up and into my desk in the morning. It's going to be very exciting, to see what this future brings as far as leveraging the human aspect of what we do, as a companion with our automated services.
Fantastic. Aaron, I can see how much this business means to you. I can see how passionate you are about Ambs Call Center and how passionate you are about delivering the right level of service. But not only that, about keeping the people that work here. I can see how much that they mean to you, and having them, in a good place, and having them in an environment where they are thriving. All of that comes across from your messaging, and it ties in beautifully with your, with the family owned theme and what AMS has done for nearly 100 years. I've very much enjoyed our conversation today, Aaron. It's really quite inspiring. And I thank you very, very much for your insights today. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here. Appreciate it,
Aaron,
Lloyd.
appreciate it. Let's stay in touch and appreciate that.
Absolutely. Enjoy it.
Have a great day, Aaron. Thanks.
You as well.